It's Frank. Frank. Mr. Frank. I just want you to know, I think you're the best ever.
In your neighborhood, there's a place so good. It's so nice to be at a store meant for me. The feeling of family, you have to agree.
Wow, thanks, Fareway, Frank.
Welcome to Fareway, your Fareway family.
Oh, yes.
Mom, Dad's being weird again.
Luscious.
Honey,
So full.
it's just grass.
Oh, it's so much more than just grass. It's a healthier, greener, and more luscious lawn. Yours can be too.
Look at you.
With 𝗙𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗏 Lawn Care.
Remember, no shoes on the lawn. Because you're so beautiful.
Call or click.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Des Moines. Wells Fargo Arena, Friday, April 25th. With special guests, Beartooth and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at HiVTix.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit Shinedown.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
What is up? It is Thursday, the 24th of April. You got Chris and Chris. Yes. NFL draft starts today. Let's go. Thank you for that, Maddie Van Winks. Appreciate y'all. We are presented, as always, by Fareway Meat and Grocery. We are in the Channel Seed Studios. I'm going to be with some of them channel boys at Brooks and Dunn tonight, Hassel.
Oh, that's
Would
tonight?
you go to that concert?
Probably not.
My Maria.
I didn't mind them 25 years ago.
Boot, scoot,
It's that kind of country is kind of, it's just too old for me. Too old school.
Too old? That's like the best country music in history,
No.
the 90s.
On my red dirt road.
Yeah.
Who else is
Where
with
I
him?
drank my first beer.
That's where
Swear
I gave my
found
first
peace.
handy.
Do I have this right? There's going to be 3 openers.
Wait, David Lee Murphy is there?
Who's David Lee Murphy?
Might be a little dust on the
the
bottle.
bottle.
He's the Vanilla Ice of country music. The biggest one-hit wonder in the history of country music.
Dust on the Bottle's the only one he's really
Yes,
done.
it's the only song he has.
Get sweeter with time.
Yeah, I just it's a
Molly
little old for
Tuttle.
me. I give me some new guys. Give me some new blood. Give me some
No. See, not me. I'm going to live in the 90s. I'm good. George Strait, Brooks and Dunn. Yeah.
George
I
Gay.
think I might be going to this wrong concert. This Shinedown ad that keeps playing before the show has me ready to rock.
And that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's about to get heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. Back-to-back big shows at
Big
Wells Fargo
night,
Arena.
big weekend at Wells Fargo, man.
I'll say.
They're just killing it over
And
there.
then
at
the
Iowa Events.
Barnstormers on Saturday.
Yeah. We got a little Drake relays. I think I might bebop on over to Drake Stadium tomorrow because I have some family friends from Clarinda. My nieces and nephew are running on Saturday at a high school event, and then shout out to my girl Jersey. She's running in the 100 and 200, representing the
Really?
great town of Clarinda, Iowa. So I think I might go pop over and see her on Friday. Go support our friends over there.
I didn't think that town of Clarinda could produce
Oh.
any kind of an athlete.
Oh, we got
I mean, the
elite.
people over there seem just way too sick.
Well, you know, these academy
produce
kids are
any
just
kinda-
running from the cops all the time. They're in really good shape.
Your dad never did answer the age-old question: how many kids did he electrocute in the chair at the Clarinda Academy back in the day?
Did you? I think I've told you this story. My grandfather, the great Robert Williams.
Robert E. Lee Williams.
Stop it. if you go to the old MHI, the Mental Health Institute, which is
we're heading down to the MHI tonight.
It's haunted, by the way. Like, this place is fucking crazy haunted. But there's a museum there, and it's my grandfather was the warden of all the mental health people. And his office is untouched. It's a museum.
I think you've told this story before.
Yeah, it's really quite amazing. Like, it's really cool, but you have to get through the spirits to get to it.
And this building is just sitting vacant?
I think it is now, yeah, because they shut it down. Remember, that was a whole thing in Iowa like 10 years ago. They shut all these mental health institutes down, and then like the Van Wokes of the world got all amped up, and they're doing the rioting.
Yeah, he's always looking to cancel people.
Yeah, I wouldn't dig into that office too much. I wouldn't look at the papers too close.
What do you think?
Well, you're right, Matt, because I think what they honestly, and this was like a deep end mental health hospital back in the day. Like I'm guessing they were like straight jacketing people and
shock treatments.
Yeah. So anyway, it's about to get heavy. Matt Campbell goes off, and then crazy enough, like 3 hours after his press conference, this judge who really doesn't know anything about college athletics I'm putting together completely changes everything again of what Campbell was talking about. We'll get to that. Iowa gets a backup quarterback, presumably. Iowa also snags 𝗙liche. She's coming to the team. Did you see 𝗙liche?
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. I am
too much going on.
I am a mental mess right now. This should be a complete downtime. The seasons are over. It's just spring football, and I'm just getting hit from every angle. You know, these new transfers, women's basketball, men's basketball, football. What does it mean? Will they ever play? How much did we spend on them? Oh, we got this fucking house settlement thing that's never going through. I can't. I don't know what to think.
This is why everybody's so tired in this industry.
Yeah, I feel like blocking everything out, and I can't. I can't
on top
for our
of it,
job.
Fans are more pissed off than ever, and they take it out on us because we are.
But they should be. They should be pissed.
I get it. I'm not criticizing them. I'm saying like it is exhausting right now.
It is, and it's never ending. I mean, the portals just keep opening. Even though the portals are technically closed now, I think
it's open.
It's a misconception. Oh, the portal's closed now. It's all over. No, I mean, all the players that are in the portal are still there that haven't found new places yet, and so they're looking to find new homes. And then when a coach leaves, that it opens right back up. And Matt Norlander had a tweet yesterday. He was talking with Matt Norlander's from CBS. He covers college basketball, if you don't know. He was talking with a major Division I coach, and he said that this coach actually had the foresight to look ahead and saw the future and what was going to happen right before the portal closes. So right before the portal closed, a lot of players would go to their coaches or the NIL collective and hit them up for more money, or else we're going into the portal today. And this coach created this slush fund. He hid away
I've heard of these.
Some NIL money.
Yeah.
Because he knew that at least one of his players was going to try to come for a shakedown right before the portal closes to get more money. So he hid away like 10% of their NIL money specifically for this. And in his case, it worked out. He was able to give this player more money. But you know what? Now, even more people are aware. And the next time it happens, there's going to be more players who are going to do the same thing. Oh, he got $100,000 more just for saying he was going to go into the portal on the last day? And they're desperate, and they have this slush fund hid away?
Joshua Jefferson did at Iowa State.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like his was a little bit different in that it wasn't the last day. Like he
had like legitimate offers coming in. Like,
right.
He could have gone to like 3 different places for double the amount of money. So it was a business move. But
this would have been like,
but it was
𝗺𝗀𝗋𝗄 on the very last day, which was earlier this week, saying I'm going to the portal unless I get blank, and Iowa State either having to pay him or have him go in the portal. I'm so sick of this shit. I mean, have you seen these numbers? CBS Sports put out an article a couple of days ago with new numbers for college football and college basketball teams this upcoming season. And according to 𝗀cie𝗰𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, the head coach at Indiana, who was quoted in this article quite a bit, the teams that are spending the most in college football this year are spending $50 million on their roster. A year ago, we couldn't believe that Ohio State might be spending $20 million on their roster. It's more than doubled. In college basketball, $20 million. The top teams are spending $20 million. Iowa State didn't even spend $2 million last year on their roster. And that was still a lot more than Iowa. It is out of control. If it keeps going this way, and hopefully this House settlement will stop this, but as you know, I have no faith in that. Imagine if it doubles again next year.
It'll put everybody out of business. It's not sustainable what they're doing.
No!
Yeah. So the Cignetti thing, I want to comment on that real quick. Because this guy we're a Cignetti show. Like, we need more interviews like this guy. And then I'm going to lead into what Matt Campbell said yesterday, because I thought it might have been Matt Campbell's best press conference since he's come to Iowa State. And he's been here almost 10 years now. It might have been the best Matt Campbell you've ever gotten for 27 minutes, just honest answers. Dude, you can tell he's been there a while, and he's just like, yeah, he's a cock of the walk, baby. Cignetti did what I was really surprised that he would do, and he named names.
He named names.
He named names. He said right now, this is a direct quote from Cignetti via that CBS article. Right now, I understand it's Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, and Texas Tech because of their oil money. I think Notre Dame is pretty good right now, too, and Miami, of course. He also went into, I thought it was really interesting that he just threw those names out there of these teams that are, because I've heard that. I don't know, that Texas Tech, and they're certainly doing it in Texas Tech is this weird thing going on that is a microcosm of what's happening all over the country, where their basketball staff wants to spend like crazy too because they're trying to win, and their football, but their football guy McGuire is one of these coaches that thinks that no, like 80% of this needs to be going to football so we can compete with these other schools and stuff like that. So that's been really fascinating. But we've heard on the Big 12 front, like if you're going to buy stock on any of these programs going into the NIL era, it's Texas Tech because exactly that. So I thought it was wild that Cignetti he named names.
I knew you should take something. You're on our list, Elaine Bennis. And now, you're on our list, Nerd Isaacov.
You got me blacklisted at Hop Sings?
She named name.
Good pull there, Maddie.
We might be blacklisted from YouTube for playing that clip.
We'll take our chances.
I mean, I'm not surprised that he named. I mean,
that's a no-no in that industry. You don't name names. Even the
what's the big deal? I think we all know that. Don't we all know that those are the teams spending the most money?
That's why Cignetti's great, because he just fucking doesn't care, and he's at Indiana, and nobody's paying attention to Indiana football anyways, even though they're in the playoff. He can just do whatever the hell he wants. It's why Dion would be wise to stay at Colorado. He can do whatever the hell he wants out.
Yes.
These guys they're in great spots when they do that. So we had that, and then let's get to the Matt Campbell stuff, because Iowa State had its ending press conference from spring football yesterday, is the way I would put it. And over the last week, as is happening all over the country, these names are trickling out of players going into the portal, walk-ons getting cut across the country because they had to get their roster size down. All these, it's happening everywhere. So most teams have about 120 players on their roster, sometimes a few more when you count the walk-ons, only 85 scholarships in the past. But like last year, Iowa State played 103 players with 85 scholarships because they had so many injuries last year, okay? So that it seems like a lot, but that's just the reality. So this year, because of this new law that might be going in, this house settlement thing, the rule is, okay, you can have 105 scholarships, but that's your roster limit. You can't have 25 walk-ons on your – you can only have 105 players in your football program. So the last week has been very trying for programs, players alike across the country who – the crazy thing is here, we're going to listen to what Matt has to say about it, is they don't know when the roster has to be trimmed down. Is that before the first game? Is that when fall camp opens? Is that halfway through the season? Nobody knows.
And they just kind of assumed that they were going to have to.
Correct. And they wanted to do it now so that these players could have a place to go play next season. Like, they're doing it, like, it sucks that they have to be cut, but you also, like, you're doing it for them. You don't want to cut them once the fall semester starts, because then they're stuck on your roster. You're giving them the summer. Oh, I'm going to go play D2, right? Like, most of these guys want to play football. So Matt Campbell was asked, I believe it was Ben Hutchins, Quad City, great young reporter, nice young man. And he basically asked about how hard all this has been. And Matt Campbell took the opportunity to let us know what's on his mind.
None of us get into coaching for those conversations. It's honestly, it's showing you where college football is today, and it's criminal, and it's sad, it's disappointing, and it's one of those things that is, when your real responsibility is development of the student athlete, no matter where that student athlete falls in your football program, that's what's really hard. And so a lot of things that you don't believe in and you don't stand for, and right now you just try to navigate your program the right way and help benefit kids. And the great thing is a lot of our young men that maybe were in a gray area, the 105, have already got themselves in some great situations. And I think the opposite of that is, man, there's some guys that maybe weren't on scholarship here that have already gained scholarships out there, and so you see the ability to help a lot of young men too along the way. So I think there's a reward of that. But really tough week, and really a week that you just you really sit and evaluate what are we really doing in our profession. So really unfortunate, really tough, trying times. I think what you're just trying to do is look out for the best interest of every kid in your program and their families. But it's hard when you don't know the rules, and the rules still aren't very clear. And, I think when you don't, you certainly have to prepare every young person for what could be the most extreme of the rules. And I mean, come on, it's April and we don't even know what the rules are for the next fall. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard of.
There was another clip in the press conference where he said what's going on is criminal.
He said it there.
Oh, okay, I missed that part.
He said the C word. And what you just heard from Campbell, if I'm an Iowa State fan, that worries me big time, because you heard him say some things that for the first time might lead you to believe that maybe he will start entertaining going to the NFL to get away from this, because this is not what he got into college coaching for. This is something that we've seen it time and time again, drive coaches away, early retirements, all that. I mean, you could tell this is really affecting Matt Campbell.
I think there were more clips in that, Chris, in the 27 minutes where he talked about it's why he's still at Iowa State, because he's able to still run the program the way he wants for the most part. But that is also changing. A good question by Travis Hines was in there about that. I want to just go off myself here, because this whole thing is such a farce. this whole thing of these roster limits. So the reason they put in these stupid roster limits across the board is because they, like the NCAA, I was reading The Athletic last night, and there was a quote from one of these suits that the quote was, "We're creating more opportunities than ever before." And this is, remember when this all happened and we put the chart up, it was like, oh, well, wrestling, they used to only have 10 scholarships, and now they can have 25. Mm-hmm. Oh, the softball team, they can have 45 scholarships. So, but it's a farce. Nobody's actually filling those scholarships with these opportunities. You don't have to. The only thing you have to do is have the same amount for female athletes as male athletes. You're not creating anything more. You're actually limiting opportunity for people like these walk-ons who you're not paying, who just want to be a part of the team. They just want to, like maybe that the kid from Tipton is a diehard Hawkeye fan and running out in Kinnick Stadium. He doesn't even have to play. That's a dream come true for him. He's an Iowa Hawkeye the rest of his life. No, we're limiting that. You're limiting a lot more than you're actually creating. So it's a total farce. But again, Chris, and I have beat my head over a concrete wall for 10 years talking about this. This is college athletics screwed itself for the last 30 to 40 years. This reminds me of in our industry. This is in our industry where the newspaper industry refused to evolve because they were cashing so many checks from classified ads. It's just like, yeah, not as many people are reading print news, but we're still making all this money from these classified ads that we don't need to change. This is when you were at ESPN and you looked across the board and people are starting to slash cable everywhere. And ESPN didn't do anything different to go straight to the consumers because they were making so much money on these baked-in subscriptions at their hiked-up price, they didn't have to evolve. And this is exactly what the NCAA did in college athletics over the last 30 to 40 years. They could have looked ahead and seen all these lawsuits coming. Any lawyer, anybody worth a damn could see that coming. Most of these people in college athletics could, but the industry as a whole was so bureaucratic and slow. They're like a giant tortoise. They refuse to move anywhere. And now you have coaches like Matt Campbell. What are we, 4 months from the season? And they don't know the rules. And here's the best part. You can't even make it up. Matt Campbell has this press conference. I'm out coaching the Turtles last night. Check my phone in about the third inning. The whole thing blows up again. Where this judge now says, well, listen, this is unconstitutional. You can't have roster limits. And this judge, who presumably doesn't know anything about this. You want to know what's criminal, is that we have now put college athletics in the hands of Ted Cruz, Cory Booker, and these judges who don't know anything about what they are presiding over. We've completely screwed ourselves over the last 30 to 40 years by not taking the bull by the horn and doing something about it.
That's why I've never bought into this. Oh, once this House settlement goes through, we'll rein this in, and we'll only have to pay 20, 21 million a year to these athletes. We'll no longer ask the fans for money. We'll get it figured out. No, who really thought that this was going to go through without a hitch? I mean, it was clear from the get-go when this thing kept being delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed that something here was going to happen. So I'm not surprised at all. But the bottom line is they're going to have to figure this out over the next couple weeks because you can't go to trial.
They'll get killed. If they go to trial, it's all over.
Yes.
Like now, Iowa and Iowa State football and like everything, they could go out of business if they go to trial. There's no way these conferences will let this get to trial. They're screwed. They can't win. They can't win in the trial.
What is the problem? Like, why can't, okay, she says there can't be roster limits, so let's not have roster limits. I think
what they're saying,
what's the big issue?
From what I'm reading, I think that this judge will be okay with roster limits in the future, but she wants it
phased in, yeah. But why is that a big deal?
All these guys already got cut.
So
this should have happened 3 months ago.
Well, but why can't they just say, all right, well, then we won't do it. And now we'll okay, they can still have 125 guys on the roster, and you can still have walk-ons. What's the big fucking deal? Why are they trying to limit the rosters?
They're trying to. And I don't know all this stuff. Okay, I'm
like, how is that the one thing that's holding all this up? That seems very minor to me.
I think it's a facade. Like, this is their way of saying, like, hey, we're extending an olive branch, right? And we're going to offer more opportunities for young people across the board in these athletic departments, not just in the sport of football. Does that make sense? Because they're adding it up and being like, wow, look at all these roster spots.
Who's extending the olive branch?
Which would be the defendants, in my mind.
See, this whole thing is so convoluted and confusing that, like, I don't even know who's trying to do what anymore.
𝗀cie the cat said that. Do we have a new Legends and listeners?
Yeah,
already?
Yep.
Okay.
I listened to it this morning.
I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, it would be astronomical.
It would bankrupt everybody.
Doctorman said that if she doesn't sign the settlement and it goes back to court, it'll cost schools billions, with a B, billions of dollars, and it will. They can't do that.
No, it won't happen. There's too much at stake. And then, like, the ironic part is, if it did go to trial, all it would do is screw every future. And that's my point with this. Is like, this is going to limit more opportunities for young people in the future than it is going to help them, no matter what these people say. No matter what they say. Because this is good. Like, the last 3-4 years with all this money being tossed around has been good for like 10 to 20% of these players. It's been terrible for the other 80 that are now just basically collateral to the money. Because when it comes to true name, image, and likeness, most of these players don't have much value. They just don't. Like, people associate with the Tiger Hawk and Cy. Like, it's just a reality. Rocco Beck has a ton of value. You know, like, Caitlin Clark had a ton of value. Like, there's these, like, pockets. But, like, the most of them, like name, like, Iowa State has a really good secondary, right? Most of those guys, you don't even know who they are when they walk by you in public. It's just they wear a face mask. Like, it's just hard.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't helping more student athletes. It's going to limit opportunities in the future. And that's what's so, like, delusional about this whole thing. Like, I don't give a shit how many softball scholarships there are going to be, because you're never going to fill them all. It's all semantics and just crap on paper to get through the courts.
Where this whole thing lost me right away was when it first came out and they stipulated that, well, and $2.5 billion of this is going to go to athletes from the last 5 years before NIL who weren't able to get paid on NIL. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean,
why are you? How can you do that? How can you?
All my buddies.
You open up that can of worms, you got to go all the way back.
Well, and that's why they don't want to go to court, because there was some sort of, like, it was over a certain amount of years, and, like, the whole thing it's really disappointing. But I'm not surprised. You
I'm not either.
You cannot just kick the can down the road. Again, this could have been people in college athletics, like smart people who are not immoral human beings, and they figured it out 20 years ago, and we would have had this all done. Instead, I cannot repeat this enough. We have left this for Ted Cruz and Cory Booker to figure out. That's fucking great. Well, I mean, that's genius. Let's let our politicians figure this out. It's unbelievable we are in this spot.
And the toothpaste is out of the tube. You've got teams that are spending $50 million on their football team this year, and you're going to try to say next year you only get to spend $21 million on your entire athletic department. Bullshit. That is going to open up all kinds of new avenues for cheating to try to get these players close to the amount of money that they're going to make this season. Like, you think that these guys are going to take monster pay cuts from one year to the next, it ain't happening.
I certainly think that we are in a giant bubble right now. Like, I think in 10 years we'll look back. Well, never mind. I don't think that, because I don't know what this is. I swear to God, I've been writing this book for like 3 years, right? And I'm getting ready to work on like the last chapter, and it was going to be like the next 10 years at Iowa State. I don't even think I can do it. I don't fucking know. Whatever I write's going to be dated by the time the thing even comes out.
Yeah, you probably
like,
have to do
like I have to
a
punt,
separate book. It's a separate book. This whole thing is a separate book.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to touch it. We do have some other stuff to talk about. But I want to thank our friends, them damn good 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶 brothers. It's going to be a nice weekend. We're going to get some, we've got a nice rain.
Nice weekend for the Drake relays? That never happens.
It's going to be a decent weekend. It's not perfect, but it's going to be decent. It's going to be like 70 and a little bit overcast, but it's going to be nice.
Those 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗍 came and fertilized my yard last Friday, and we've had all this rain the last
They
couple days.
fertilized the seed in your yard?
Yeah. And my grass is already like twice as green. It's crazy. It's waking
awesome.
up. It's greening up.
Those 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗍s came a couple weeks ago for me. Yeah, it's real good. If you haven't called them yet, you should. They are the Dabgum 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗍 brothers. Best damn lawn care in the business. I would also like to thank our friends at 𝗀𝗃 Men's Health. I'm going to go get my tee shot for the weekend. Got a big game tomorrow night. Turtles are 1-0.
Oh, you
and
won
I've
last
got to
night.
be all teed up for my coaching coming up this week. I'm not kidding. I feel so good right now. It just feels so good. I guess. So look at that. I got pitching I was doing last night there.
What are you
Hassel.
doing, pitching underhand?
Well, yeah, it's softball.
Oh, God.
What's your problem? Yeah. Well, you want me to throw overhand in a softball game to 10-year-olds?
Real soft.
I went to the game and cheered on the Turtles, and I heard Williams say, yeah, that beer league softball pitching's really come in handy.
No, so here's the problem. I used to pitch in a beer league slow pitch, right? To eliminate the curve from the pitch is very difficult to do once you've like taught yourself how to do that. So like I will pitch to these girls and it's got that.
You're throwing screwballs?
And it's like I gotta level it out, right?
Do you only pitch to your own team?
Yes, you pitch to your own team. Yes.
Yeah, but you don't want to throw it too hard if you go straight, you know. That's the trick. You got to find that sweet spot.
Yeah, and every kid's different. Like some of them want it at a certain speed. The other ones are, some are like 2 feet tall, some are 5 feet tall.
What was the final score of the game? You said you worked
7-4.
7-4. You said you worked on offense all.
Yeah,
all
we left 7 on
training.
base. Yep.
Turtles
hit
look
the ball
good.
really well.
Look good.
Thanks, Matt. Matt's the AAA
the scouting
Turtles
director.
organization. Sent a bunch of nice prospects up this last year. Appreciate his contributions to the program. Okay, let's go along with our friends from Wealth Charter who are celebrating 25 years. I went to their new little ribbon cutting thing at their new spot in Ankeny a couple weeks ago and hung out with our guy Tim Hawkins. Really appreciate them coming on board with two guys. Chris and Chris, they've been on Murph and Andy for, well, that's where we're going to go along. But remember Wealth Charter in 2025 for your retirement planning, tax prep, financial management, and more. Give Tim and the boys and gals over at Wealth Charter a shout out. Tell them that Iowa Everywhere sent you. Who are you going along with, Hassel?
Yeah, glad they're on board with us now. Wealth Charter's been with Murph and Andy for quite a while as well, and that's where I'm going to go along today on Murph and Andy celebrating their 100th show yesterday on Iowa Everywhere. And you got your Murph and Andy shirt on.
Yeah,
nice,
you should
great
go buy
gear
one
at the merch store.
Yes.
Just really proud of those guys, and a real achievement is Keith Murphy has been a part of every one of those 100 shows so far.
Yeah.
And the guy has been everywhere. I mean, he was at Bryce Miller's side for a long time as he was going through his cancer battle in San Diego. Keith did every show live from there. Andy is doing shows live from Mexico this week. This never would have happened because it can't with their old radio show. And when those guys would go somewhere else, you wouldn't hear from them at all. You wouldn't. The show would go on, but without them. And this ability that this platform has to allow them to do shows traveling, I think that's awesome. And another thing that I love about bringing Murph and Andy on board is we have a new generation of Murphy in the Iowa Everywhere tree. 𝗙𝗃𝗏, who is the producer of Overthinking and is doing a fantastic job with all of our social media content.
Yeah.
Social media guru. We needed one of these youngsters.
Well, he understands stuff that's just
he knows the algorithms. Like he's like, well, you got to cut it down to under a minute, or else it'll get taken out of the algorithm. So, really happy with that. And Andrew Downs was not there yesterday. That's only because he had a family funeral to attend to. Those guys, it's so great to have them on board and doing so well. 100 shows in, and hopefully hundreds and thousands more down the road here at Iowa Everywhere.
And I would also add to that, it's difficult for anyone in any industry to change. And they had it so well. They were doing so well with radio, and just they're the opposite of the NCAA. Like to see what's coming and to see the need for change, not only to do it, but then to evolve with it. It's hard. Like it really is difficult when you've been doing a radio show with no video for 15 years, and then you come over here and we're throwing all this crap at them. And they've just done a really good job.
No video, no commercial breaks.
Yeah, and you have to learn everything differently, like to do these ad reads, and like it's just a different world. And I'm not surprised.
I think the show has taken on a different level of status because they don't have to break for commercials. They can go long on topics. I mean, sometimes they'll do a show and it's an hour and 5 minutes long, and then the next day they'll do a show, it's an hour and 40 minutes long because they don't have to move on.
Yeah. That's the best part of it. No, that's perfect. I love those guys like family. I know you do too. And we appreciate them believing in us to move their iconic radio show over here. Less than a year ago, I guess. But September was their first show, but really appreciate it. And thanks to all of you that's the other thing too, like the listeners and the viewers, not only a new generation of Murph with Cade coming on, but a new generation of Murph and Andy listener too. There's a lot of young people who probably, like I always use it as an example. Aiden had never listened to their radio show.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but I looked. And
now
when they were on radio, the average age per listener was 72 years old. Since they've come over to Iowa Everywhere, we have been able to take that down to 51 years old. So what that does is it's not just about the target demo and all that, but the 72-year-olds, they don't have much longer. You get these old folks in here and they'll die off. So get the younger folks, and they will be around for.
Well, with modern technology, these we're living till 100, baby.
You don't buy that, do you? You really think you're going to live to 100 with all the tea?
Not me. There's no way I will. I drink way too much caffeine, whiskey, I don't sleep enough. Like, there's no way I'm living towards that. I'm not even going to try. Put me down at 75.
That's the average age. That's the average age for an American male.
But before we get to the Iowa quarterback thing, what's this Heather Dinich report? This one, you put it in the rundown.
God.
This one got me.
Well, this came out on Monday. I'm sure many people have seen it by now. That a source floated the potential for TV ratings deciding college football playoff bids. and the highest ranked conference. So here's the excerpt from the article. One possibility which could be viewed as a compromise is having conferences earn automatic bids through their play each season, a model in which each Power 4 league can earn guaranteed spots through a combination of teams' overall records and maybe even TV ratings, according to a source. So that is absolute horseshit. Can you
Just
imagine
if the NFL
giving
did that.
out playoff bursts based on TV rate? Ohio State's in even if they go 0-12.
Whoever this source is needs to we need to dox them and get them fired. Like that, nobody should be in any level of power if they believe that, actually.
Well, Josh Pate on his Josh Pate college football show said he believes, and I'm kind of with him here. He believes that this is a case of, oh God, we want to get this new thing in that people aren't going to like. How are we going to do that? Oh, let's just present some absolutely horrific, horrifying potential and float that out there so that we can be the good guys in the end and say, okay, we won't do that, but we will do this. And then everybody will be like, oh, okay, well, that's not nearly as bad. So that's how they're going to sneak that in there. That's what he believes. And I think
we've all done that with our
probably
wives
onto
before,
something.
right? Like, honey, let's go to this 3-day dirt race event in Eldora with the camper. When I know she'll say no.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could just go to that show in Marshalltown on Friday night. Okay, well, yeah, I'll make a deal with you.
But still, the fact that was even floated out there as
So I'm saying, if
possibility.
anybody's putting that into the universe, they need to be kicked off of whatever committee they're on right now. Like, that's completely unacceptable to even entertain that. So it'd be like, college basketball, like, okay, no mid-majors at all. Completely wiping them out of the NCAA tournament.
Because that would be, you would open up a can of worms that it would be, the TV networks would then be able to decide who goes to the playoff because,
Which they've already decided who's in what conference, so we may as well give them that too.
Yeah, they already have a ton of power, okay? But they would have the power to, let's just say, Iowa has a really good team. Well, maybe Fox doesn't want them in the college football playoff. Maybe Fox eventually gets the rights to it. So Fox will bury them on FS1 instead of putting them on Fox so that their television rating isn't as high. They'll put them at different time, a much less viewed time during the day.
Seen that in the Big 12 for 20 years.
Put them on FS2 where nobody can find them. Oh, well, no, nobody watched. They're not getting in. I mean, give me a fucking break. What the hell? See, it's all this stuff, and it's happening at once. The transfer portal, the NIL, the college football playoff, it's all happening at once. And I don't know what I should even care about anymore. Like there's so much that can totally ruin this great game, and so many things that have already happened that have ruined these great games, whether it's college football or college basketball. I kind of link them together. Like I don't even care that Iowa got a good transfer from Wake Forest yesterday. I really don't care. Like, is he going to play? I don't know. I mean,
Well, tell us about him.
I don't know anything about him. I don't care.
Jeremy 𝗀cie𝗶𝗹𝗶.
I don't care. I don't care. Iowa got 𝗀cie𝗰𝗶𝗿. I'm so sick of getting worked up over these guys coming and going, and it ends up not mattering at all. I don't care. Like, doesn't mean anything to me.
Who was the guy last year that just transferred?
You talking about Hank Brown from Auburn?
No. The one that just transferred. He played a couple games. The Northwestern guy.
Oh, you're talking about the guy who transferred out.
Yeah.
Sullivan.
Yeah. I mean, we how much time did we spend talking about that guy?
I'm
this
overstimulated.
Guy hasn't played, for what it's worth. I'm looking him up now. He doesn't have.
Yeah,
any
he was
stats.
a good high school player. He was like Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia or something. But I don't have the bandwidth to care, and this is scary because
we're getting old. This means we're getting old. Like we really are. We can do this, but this is why like I can't at Cyclone Fanatic like do the day-to-day recruiting coverage anymore. I just can't because like I've done it too much and I realize how much of it doesn't matter and is bullshit.
Is it getting old or is it getting just turned off? And because I worry about the future of the sport and fans being completely just turned off by look, and this is a good thing that happened to Iowa. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. This is good. I'm really glad they got him. Whatever. And
they got chit chat.
Yeah, women's team got chit chat. It's been a bad transfer portal season for the Iowa women. They seem like they've struck out on everybody, but they got chit chat from Georgia Tech. That's a good get.
Do you know why they call her chit chat?
Probably because she talks a lot.
Incorrect.
What?
𝗙liche𝗋𝗶𝗶 wrote about this in his column today. They call her chit chat because on her AAU team she never talked. So they called her chit chat.
So it's the opposite.
Ironically.
So it's like in the mob, they call a guy Little Jimmy, even though he's like 450 pounds.
Yeah, that would be accurate.
Yeah. You don't want to piss off Little Jimmy.
There's a new CC in Iowa City. It's not Caitlin Clark.
It's chit chat.
Chit chat.
Yeah, good luck with that. She's good. She's a good get. Short, like 5'3", 5'4". What's her actual name? Hang on. What's her actual name?
Chit Chat. She does have a real name.
She played quite a bit for a Georgia Tech team that went to the tournament. So
𝗙ecie chit chat right.
Right. Okay. Chit chat right. That's what we'll call her.
Nice little get.
Yeah, sure. Needed to happen. Jesus. God. The portal's closed now.
Hey, the best news of the week. The Rose Bowl is kicking off an hour later, or earlier this year. An hour earlier. They have buzzed on their kickoff time. Because maybe these old bastards out in Pasadena are showing a little wiggle room now. They have been stuck on this damn kickoff time for 100 years. Because of the fucking sunset.
But we're still going to see the sunset during the game. What the hell is the difference?
They needed it, Chris, to happen at a specific time when the band marched out onto the field. This is what has held the sport back for 50 years, this fucking sunset. And the fact that these Blazers budged on an hour, this is progress.
So this is your silver lining, all the bad shit that's going on right now in college sports.
No, honestly,
this is the one thing you're grasping onto.
If we didn't play another Rose Bowl game, it wouldn't bother me.
But wasn't it last year? Was it like the Fiesta Bowl or something went like into the Rose Bowl and they started the game?
And they started the game anyways because they're too damn selfish and all they care about is themselves. That's the problem with college athletics in general. Nobody looks out for the greater whole. Everybody only cares about themselves. It's been this way for 50 years. And nobody is more guilty of it than the Blazers at the Rose Bowl and Jim Delaney.
You're not wrong. I saw some tweets from people that were like, "Oh, the Rose Bowl, yeah, they really they compromised the sunset. They really I
think
they've taken a new step." No, this sunset's still happening in the fourth quarter. All they're doing is they're kicking the game off an hour earlier because they're part of the like triple header of quarterfinal playoff games. And so the sunset, instead of happening like at the end of the third, is going to happen toward the end of the game, which might even be better.
I think the Rose Bowl should not even be in the playoffs. Just give it its own bowl game. You want to stand out? Fine. You're not in the playoff. You can just be the Rose Bowl. Go be the Rose Bowl without the playoff. It's great. You can have it on New Year's Day. I don't care.
I think
streaming
the Rose Bowl,
on the Barstool Network, like whatever, do your own thing. I don't care, but you're not a part of the playoff. That's what I would do.
How about the Rose Bowl being the national championship every year?
Sure, I would love it, but they won't do it because of the sunset New Year's Day thing. I would be all about that being the national championship game. I agree with you in the history of the Rose Bowl. The problem is the sport has changed and they haven't.
And they won't put the championship game outdoors.
Yeah, but I would do that, Chris. I think it'd be awesome.
It's not even possible for it to rain in Pasadena.
If we could somehow move the season up and have the Rose Bowl game in its current standing be the national championship game, I would be all about that. I just don't know how you do it with all these playoff teams now. Like, what are we going to kick off the season on August 1st? Have everybody die of heat stroke? Like, you can't do that. Like, they're going to be doing fall camp on the 4th of July. Like, I'm all about that, like making the Rose Bowl the championship game, because I agree it's the most historic bowl game. It screams college football, all that stuff. The problem is the Rose Bowl. They won't budge. This is like seismic movement for these Blazers to be like, yeah, we'll move our game up an hour. Like, I know we're like laughing about it. For these guys, like, I guarantee they lost sleep over it.
You're not wrong. I'm sure this was you know what? They probably got something for that too. Like, how did they
give you like a free trip to?
How did they sweeten the deal?
Guys get a free cruise.
Look, guys, we don't want the Sugar Bowl kicking off at 9:20 Eastern time. So, can you please just move up an hour? No. All right, what do we have to do to make it worth your while?
They're waving their canes. No.
How about we give you a rose
Jim Delaney's
enema
in the background blowing his nose with $100 bills. God. Look up, Matt. There's a great – see if you can find it real quick. What does Jim Delaney get paid by the Rose Bowl every year as like a consultant? It'll blow your mind.
So you're saying he's
on their payroll. See, he was getting backroom deals from what I understand from the Rose Bowl the whole time. Like while he was with the Big Ten. It's out there. I know I want to make sure we're reporting it correctly. I know it's a crazy number what this guy's just bankrolling through the Rose Bowl. You want to know what? They're the reason. They are a big reason why Ted Cruz and Cory Booker are now in charge of college athletics going forward. Congratulations, everybody. Just real fucking genius. Thank our friends at Freedom Tire. You don't want your tire to implode like college football is doing when you're driving down the road on a 100-degree day. That's why you need to get them checked out at Freedom Tire. All of our different great locations in Des Moines, also the one up in Ames. I've got to get my truck in because I got a big NASCAR weekend with 𝗀𝗎𝗓 coming up here in a couple of weeks, Hassel. Me and 𝗀𝗎𝗓, we're going down to Kansas Speedway for 4 nights with the camper, and I have got to get serviced at Freedom Tire, both the camper and the truck, before we go. I'll send you some pictures when I do it. How about that? Giddy up. You're still welcome to fly into Kansas City and redneck it with us in the infield of Kansas Speedway for 4 nights if you would like. 𝗀𝗎𝗓 will not let anybody go other than me, but I think she would make an exception for you.
I can't even think of the dollar figure it would take for me to fly to Kansas and spend 4 nights with you and your daughter in a camper at a NASCAR race.
Be great.
Oh, that sounds like hell on earth.
I think I found the number.
Okay, what do we have?
It says that he was paid $400,000 as an outside consultant for the league. I don't know if that's specifically for the Rose Bowl, but
it's a bigger number than that. Like, okay. But Dan Wetzel.
Do they really disclose that?
It's been probably not, because they're a private company. They don't have to do anything that they want. But Dan Wetzel has reported on this before. He's now at ESPN, so he probably can't now.
Well, in 2023, the Big Ten earned $880 million in revenue, and Jim Delaney was paid $5.8 million by the Big Ten.
Yeah, he's still getting paid by the Big Ten, and he is like a consultant of some sort, I believe, to the Rose Bowl.
Remember Kevin Warren?
Yeah, he's with the Bears now.
Now that son of a bitch was with the Bears, but what a disaster his tenure was at the Big Ten. Tried to cancel the whole 2020 season. I want to get to
that seems like an eternity ago.
A super chat from earlier in the program.
Okay.
Shay wants to know what happened to the Utah Valley kid that was down to TCU in Iowa in men's basketball. He's referring to Tanner Toolson. Tanner chose TCU. I don't know if that had anything to do with Iowa backing out on him. I don't have any details on that. All I know is that Shay Tanner went to TCU to play with Brock Harding.
The speaking of Utah Valley, small world, their guard, Dominic Nelson, he was the WAC player of the year, is visiting Iowa State this weekend.
Oh, yeah. We haven't hit on that yet. What the hell's going on here? I heard Bloom
I'm hearing rumblings.
panhandling on Bloom was panhandling for money on yesterday's Bloom and Williams show. Said we need more money to the we will so that we can buy another point guard in the portal.
I don't know if he specifically said point guard because this Dominic Nelson.
He said buy a guard. He said buy a guard.
I need Hunter Deckers is going to be making his own money now in the NFL. We need money
Iowa State,
for the portal.
Iowa State was done in the portal, from what I understand, or they were thinking about being done, or actually, I think what they were doing was waiting for all these prices to drop off after the football thing opened.
Yeah.
And I have heard rumblings, and I don't have specifics, and because it's injury-based, I don't want to just throw it out there. But that one of their guys that they got in the portal may or may not have gotten hurt, but they don't know how bad it is. So they have to get another guard.
And the money that they could have used for that went to Josh Jefferson.
So now they are – I think that they have a pretty good chance at this Dominic Nelson kid. The fact 𝗀𝗙cie usually doesn't bring guys on campus. This is the way he is unless he has a pretty good feeling about it. And this kid averaged like 14 a game last year at Utah Valley. Bad three-point shooter, but he's like a defensive guy. I don't know a ton about him. 6'5", though. Downhill player. But, yeah, he was this Toulson's teammate.
It just never ends, man. It just never ends.
Yeah, I thought we were done with basketball like a week ago, and now it's like, oh, here we go. Portal's back open.
More money. Can you imagine, like, the Minnesota Vikings putting out a call to their fans, asking for donations so that they can bring a good player on in free agency? This is how bad it has gotten in college sports.
Think about it this way, too. My buddy Coop pointed this out to me because we're both Vikings fans, and we were talking about the football basketball aspect of this, like that Texas Tech thing I was telling you about earlier. You use the Vikings. Imagine if the Vikings and the Timberwolves had to share a payroll.
Yeah, that's like the football and basketball programs inside universities now. Yeah,
like imagine that.
You can't.
It wouldn't work.
No, it would not. But
are you starting to worry about McCollum missing out on Utah?
Worry? Are you kidding me?
No, I'm just asking the question. He's struck out.
They already struck out. What are you talking about? He's put together a fantastic team. This team.
What do you gauge as fantastic? Like, would that be just getting?
This is an NCAA tournament roster right now.
Think so?
Yeah, brother.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. That Horizon player, I like him. The kid from Robert Morris, I like him. I watched him a little bit.
Fuck yes.
He's a good player. I like him.
He's a player of the year.
𝗀𝗏 is really good.
𝗀𝗏 is one of the best players in the country. Okay? Ben McCollum is one of the best coaches in the country. They didn't need to make splash after splash in the portal. This team, and I think most Iowa fans believe this right now, this team is a tournament team. You got a smirk on your face. What's up? You think that this is a disappointing portal?
No, I don't know if it is or not. I just think it's like, man, you're setting your expectations pretty hot right now on April 24th. I don't think it's had like a bad portal season.
You thought that he would have done more?
I didn't think that they would miss on as many as they did, but I don't know if it's like I don't know. Like,
it's been a slow burn.
Yeah. It's been you're building that portfolio with dividend performers, not high growth.
But I think that might be by design with McCollum because he's picky.
He told me on this network that he wasn't going to like get into bidding wars with people. Like he said that.
Oh yeah.
I'd taken the man at his word.
Take a walk. You want more? Get out of here. Scram. You want more money? Take it at Creighton or Nebraska.
Get out of here.
Because he said in his, I think it was his opening press conference, when he was talking culture. Culture is about the people you bring in. It's not about molding people that don't fit it. You have to get the people that already do fit that culture. And I believe everybody that he's brought in is going to fit in nicely.
I wonder if Chit-Chat has a brother.
I doubt it.
What would his name be?
He probably does have a brother. I mean. What the hell does that have to do with it? You're getting us off task here. Van Winks, what's your question about the draft that you want to ask?
First round tonight. You guys excited?
No, I'm going to be boot scooting.
I'm not. Honestly, I don't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We'll be at the concert.
I'm hosting a pre-draft show on HQ.
Oh, nice.
I'm just not a big draft guy. I've never understood the people like Andy Fales who can just sit on their ass and watch all 7 rounds of the draft and be intrigued by it. Again, so many of these guys will never work out. So why put so much into it?
I remember like 6 or 7 years ago when Lazard didn't get drafted, and I watched every single round waiting for him to get drafted.
That was excruciating.
And I was like, oh, my heart was ripped out.
At that time, too, that was like the best recruit Iowa State had ever got.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So do you think Iowa State ends up with more draft picks than Iowa this year?
I don't know about Iowa's situation. I
It's
think
pretty crazy.
The guys for
They'll have
Iowa
4.
that they are projecting: Caleb Johnson, Sebastian Castro, Connor Colby, Jay Higgins, Luke Lachey, and Jamari Harris. I think
Iowa State won't have 6.
You know, the crazy thing, Jamari Harris opted out of the season with 2 games left to prepare for the draft, and he might not even get drafted.
I think he's projected like 6th or 7th round. So
yeah, he might not get picked.
Iowa State, I think, will safely have 4.
I think Iowa State has more high-end draft talent than Iowa does, though.
I was actually, and I didn't have time to put this together. I'll do it for Monday's show. Iowa's NFL success under Ferentz. I know that it's something to hang your hat. I don't think we probably have talked about it enough over the years, like how well he's actually done of putting guys in the league. Not only guys that like get drafted, but stick around for 10 years.
But this year,
it's crazy
it's different. Like I'm surprised. Usually Iowa, it seems like they always have a first rounder or a guy that could potentially go in the first round, and that's not the case this year. And they really don't have. I think most of the Iowa guys, they're going to go on the last day. I mean, they're going to go 5th, 6th, 7th round.
I would guess Iowa State will have 2 players taken on Friday and 2 taken on Saturday. Possibly 3 on Friday if Darian Porter can jump into the 3rd round. Yeah, and a real quick shout out to Jeff Woody and Grant Mahoney over at Cyclone Fanatic. They had interviews with Porter and Jalen Knoll on their podcast this week. They were really good.
There's a chance that Higgins goes at the very end of the first round. I don't think it'll happen, but there's a chance. I know there's some draft scouts that really like him as a top 3 or 4 wide receiver. But I would think that Higgins and Knoll will go round 2, maybe round 3, and both those rounds take place on Friday. Caleb Johnson for Iowa, he's not going to be a first-round pick. Might not be a second-round pick. He's probably somewhere in the 3rd, I would say. I really like him. I'm really interested to see where he goes and what he could be at the next level. He's just not looked at like. I mean, Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton are way above him in player position rankings. Overall rankings, I should say, on big boards. Like those guys are going to both go top 20.
Where did you say you think Higgins is going to go?
He's not going until day 3, probably.
Yeah.
Which somewhere between the 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. It sounds like.
I'd be shocked if that guy's not a pro for a long time. Though.
Seems like he should be. I was surprised. I've really been surprised by the draft rankings for these Iowa players. Like I thought that I thought that Jamari Harris could be potentially a second-day guy, and he might not even be picked.
Matt, do me a favor real quick before we end the show. Will you pull up the assistant coach quote on Shedeur Sanders that went viral this week? Dude, and this is how out of it I am. I thought he was like a top 3 pick.
No.
Holy shit, what happened to him?
He might not even be selected in the first round. He's probably going to go 21 to the Steelers. That's most
where I've
likely,
seen everything as him.
That's the most likely landing spot for Sanders. The thing is, there's just not that many teams that are desperate enough for a quarterback right now that would even consider taking him in the first round.
Matt, where is this quote coming from? I just want to make sure we provide proper context to it.
This was from a Yahoo Sports article.
Okay.
But it's a quote from a unnamed longtime NFL assistant coach.
Okay, this is the quote. "The worst formal interview I've ever seen in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good." Now, that's one assistant coach's opinion. But that's as damning of a quote as you could possibly get if you're a quarterback.
That was from Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network did that.
Okay. I just, that's how out of touch I've been with the draft. I've focused on the Iowa State guys pretty much, and
his over-under draft position is 21.5. Like if you're betting it in
like
Vegas
out of
right
the
now.
combine, wasn't he like top 5? Like going into the combine or whatever?
There was a thought that because the Browns and the Giants are picking so high, and because they really do need a quarterback of the future, that, yeah, maybe he could go there. And look, our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, says there is a chance the Giants take him at 3. It's very small. I think he's plus 700 to go number 3 and to go top 3. But
at that point, you just trade back if you're the Giants if you want him.
But no, I don't know that anybody would want to trade up.
Oh,
like, you know, the issue that the teams are having this year, the teams that need quarterbacks of the future, is that they see next year as a much better draft for quarterbacks. Next year could have Arch Manning in next year.
Could have Rocco Beck.
Yeah, he's not going to be a first rounder. And so they're thinking,
I mean, that's
okay,
presumptuous on your part, but go ahead.
You really think Rocco Becht is going to be a first-round pick next year?
I already know how Assel feels about Rocco. Small Rocco.
Yeah, I mean,
I
seen
love
what Brock
Rocco
Purdy's done in
Becht.
the NFL.
He's not
Rocco,
a first-round
big win.
draft pick. So teams like the Browns, like the Giants, are thinking, okay, well maybe we'll get a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round this year. Take it, see what happens with like a Tyler Shuck or whatever, and then really go after one potentially next year when it's going to be a lot deeper quarterback class. Because even Cam Ward, who's going to go number 1, Cam Ward wouldn't even be a top 6 quarterback from last year.
Oh, and he was smart to not play that Iowa State defense in the second half of the Pop-Tart Bowl, too, because that would have crushed his stock.
Right.
So stupid. Yeah, I'll play the first half. Like, think about that. What are we doing? That's another thing that needs fixed.
You guys don't really think Rocco's going to be a first-round pick?
I'm just screwing with you.
Okay. I'm just checking.
I mean, I would love it if he could go pro after his junior year, because that means Iowa State had an awesome year.
Well, the 49ers would be smart to take him in the 7th round.
Oh, you're already ready to move on from Brock?
No, I'm just saying they got Brock at Mr. Irrelevant.
Think of that elite culture
Why not?
quarterback room. Sitting there just...
Hey, where's that homoerotic picture of Jesus Christ feeling up Brock Purdy?
That is a great picture.
That Van Woke posted the other day. Just a steamy picture. Just Jesus caressing the big bulging muscles of Brock Purdy.
On Holy Week.
Look at him.
Okay.
Look at that. Right. He's riding with a feather. Van Winks thinks he's signing a contract, but no, he's writing naughty naughty little stories about his escapades with his Lord and Savior.
My boy showed up to workouts.
Without a contract.
Without a contract. It's coming.
And George Kittle didn't. Well, right?
Well,
Kittle.
He was at WrestleMania chugging beers.
Yeah, it's interesting because he didn't show up, and then there was a report yesterday that said that he and the Niners are far away on contract negotiations, and he said, your source is wrong, basically.
Well, yeah, the report from Diana Rossini was he's looking to become the highest paid tight end in the NFL, and he said your source is incorrect, something like that.
Yeah, essentially.
Cheers to the weekend with Steeple Ridge Bourbon. Pull out yourself a bottle. Get over to a Fairway. Buy yourself a bottle of Steeple Ridge for the upcoming weekend. I'm going to Brooks and Dunn tonight. Really looking forward to that. One of my favorite acts that I've actually never seen in concert. So really looking forward to seeing those guys. We got softball Friday night and Saturday. You know, those daggum 𝗀𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃 brothers, my yard has gotten out of control because it's so lush.
Oh, you're getting ready for No Mow May. Only another week.
Absolutely not. I'm gonna mow, not only am I gonna mow, I'm going to zap every dandelion I can see with pesticides, and I am going to load up on chemicals and make sure there's not a weed in my entire yard.
I polished off my Steeple Ridge bottle this week.
Oh, look at this guy.
I still have that the tawny port barrel that I'm still working through, and that's good stuff.
Ooh, yeah. I finished that one.
I still, my favorite bottle of theirs is Almost Impossible. The green label, the mash rye.
The sour mash?
Yeah, the sour mash
That's
rye.
your favorite, huh? You drink that straight?
I love it. Yeah, I drink it all straight. What do you guys? You guys ruin it when you put it with stuff.
Well, it depends. I mean, you got to go alcohol forward on them. You can't bury them in sugars like my dad does. His fake old fashioned that he gets it.
These text messages that your
juice.
dad sends every
God.
day, they're making me diabetic.
It's disgusting what he has these bartenders do at Monarch in Bettendorf. He forces them to make his old fashioned his specific way. And it's basically you make an old fashioned, and this is not a picture of the old fashioned. That's just wine that he had last night. I don't know what the fuck he was trying to write, but he said charb. No idea what that
I was
means.
part of that. Picked that up during the softball game. I'm like, oh, Don's drunk.
He has them make an old fashioned and put like an extra brown sugar cube in it, 2 full teaspoons of cherry juice. This is in addition to already all the sugar that's in it. 2 full teaspoons of, and this is it's not even cherry juice. It's cherry syrup. It's not maraschino cherry juice. It's that Luxardo cherry
Maraschino.
And then he has them put like Sprite in it as well. Like regular Sprite. Is so sick.
If you ever did that to a bottle of Steeple Ridge, I'd
That's
kill
a
him.
muscatine old fashioned.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he tries to, then he wants like good whiskey in it too. It's like, what are you doing? You could use the cheapest whiskey in the world. You wouldn't taste a difference. He drives me nuts.
A little teaser. Spopker's coming on All Access today. We're going to talk about the upcoming UFC fights in Des Moines.
Look, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going with Spopker. We're gonna go and we're gonna wear our affliction shirts and start some fights. Just kidding. No, I cannot wait. This is the first ever UFC event in the state of Iowa, I believe. Coming up on a week from Saturday at Wells Fargo.
Actually, there was one in Cedar Rapids, like in the
Oh,
early
you're right.
2000s, but this was the
Thank
first
you.
in Des Moines. So
Okay, there you go.
Thank you to Not Your Average Dirt Guy for the super chat. He's trying to give us some money to soften the blow for when my bubble bursts. I'm not sure what that means, but
I think he's probably
thank
talking
you.
about you claiming that Iowa's going to be in the Final Four this year.
Oh. Wait, I didn't say they'd be in the Final Four. I said they're
just
going to
kidding.
make the tournament.
What are you doing all weekend? Are you clearly not going to sit around and watch the draft based on your
I just the only part I'll watch is like the first 5 picks, and but the problem is this year it's pretty much set. Like there was a little bit that seemed like, oh, the draft's going to start at 2 with the Browns. Probably not. It's probably set. It's probably going to be Ward, and then Hunter, and then Carter, and then I think it's the offensive lineman. It's the intrigue I think is going to be at 5 with the Jags. Are they going to take Ashton Jeanty? Because Ashton Jeanty is now favored to go number 5 to the Jags. It had been thought that the Raiders would get him at 6, but the Jags might end up taking him, and then I don't know what the Raiders will do. I'll watch some of the draft tonight. Tomorrow, it's our friend's last weekend in South Florida before they go north for the winter, and I don't know. They got some kind of reservation.
You got friends that go north for the winter? Were they 70?
At some kind of club in Palm Beach.
Who are these people?
It's Matt and Ashley Berry.
Oh.
Yeah, some kind of club. I don't know.
Oh, you're going clubbing?
I hope it's not like that. Because that's not me. But I think they want to go big because it's their last weekend here.
Where's north? Bristol?
Connecticut, West Hartford. Nobody lives in Bristol. Well, you probably would because you like that kind of trash, but Bristol's just too trashy. Nobody that works at ESPN actually lives in Bristol.
I had always heard that keeps ESPN back in the day when you had to like work there before they had these studios everywhere. That would keep them from getting high end talent.
Yeah. Well, it's still. I mean, there's people I work with right now at CBS who have said, I didn't accept ESPN's offer because they wanted me to move there, and I said I'm not going to live there. West Hartford is nice. There are some nice areas in Connecticut. A lot of nice areas. You just don't live in Bristol. I mean, you got to drive, 20 minutes out of town.
All right. Well, God bless you. Have fun clubbing.
Pray for me.
Good job today, Maddie. Fine production as always. We are presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. Daddy's going to smoke a few meats this weekend. Looking forward to that. Shout out to all of our great friends from Channel Seed who are out in the fields. Probably going to rain today, though. Probably not going to have a great day today. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Murph and Andy live on Friday at 1. And then I believe we have an in-studio bigger than 12 today. Duke is in town.
He's there.
The Duke.
The Duke. Duke. That's coming up as well. Have a great weekend, and thanks for hanging out with us on Iowa Everywhere.